Hey everybody, we're in the studio today and we are changing things up a little bit, and I am building some new acoustic sound panels. I'm using the cotton panels. You can use fiberglass or foam or whatever. I chose cotton because it's just less messy and stuff like that. You see we have some of the part of the frame here to hold that in, and then also hold it off the wall, so there's an air gap there, but it's also flush with the front there. So when we put that fabric on the front, it'll be all flush and be nice, and should be nice clean look. Materials we're looking at for the outside the frame, it's a 1x4, an 8-foot piece. I cut 2 4-foot pieces and 2 2-foot pieces, and so it's just one 8-foot stick. And then this right here is the 8x1, so you probably need a couple of feet of 8x1 for a single panel, and then it's 2 feet of 2x2 for a single panel. So however many panels you're going to make, you know, just multiply and you can figure that out. I'm also just using basic 1 1/4" drywall screws, coarse thread, nothing fancy. And so we're going to build some really nice frames. And in a future video, we're going to cover them with fabric and do some really cool stuff with that as well. First things first, I cut 2 4-foot sections of the 1x4 wood. Just straight, simple pine. Cheap. And then we're also going to need 2 2-foot sections, which I have not cut yet, and so we're going to do that right now. So now I have 2 2-foot pieces, and we're going to make a rectangle out of those. So now we're going to put on these L brackets here, and of course you can use a drill to do this, but for these I usually find just hand twisting is enough to get it started. And I also use this triangle here to try to make sure things are fairly squared up. Alright, so as you can see, we have a gap here between our boards because, you know, it's cheap pine wood. It bends, it flexes. Even if you try to select the best when you're at the store, you're going to spend 30 minutes there trying to pick out the best pieces and come home, cut it, and put it together, and it still does this. So anyways, I wouldn't recommend putting 30 minutes into selecting your wood. But, so you want to kind of close the gap as much as you can right here. Take our pilot hole bit and our drill. Now that that's closed up, that'll make our frame stronger. We're going to add some other supports in here to make it really strong here in a minute, but that'll make it stronger and tighter gaps, and when we put the foam in there, it'll sit a little bit better. And of course, every now and then, just want to go ahead and double check that you're still sitting pretty square. It'll never be perfect with this wood, but we're pretty close. So we have our general frame here. Kind of get it into view here. We did our corner brackets, simple there, to get us started. And we close up our gaps with 2 drywall screws on each end. And of course, when you're doing this, I'm doing it 4 feet long, and then I'm putting the 2-foot sections in the center, and then that means I will have to end up cutting some off on the bottom of my foam just a little bit, but that's not a big deal. It's easier to measure, it's faster, a little less money on wood. You can choose to make your 2-foot piece actually go to the outside if you want. If you can extend it by, I guess, an inch or whatever that is, so it overlaps on top, that's fine too. I just chose not to do that. Next thing we're going to do on this is we're going to cut corners to go right here so that our foam can sit 2 inches off the wall. So here we go. So we have this here. This is our 8x1, and all I do, I found this kind of handy. I take this triangle, stick it right on the end, go like that, and then I cut in that 45 degrees, and then when I get to the next part, when I do the next one, I'm going to line it up like this and draw a line right there and just cut. Now we have 4 pieces, triangles that are relatively similar in size, pretty stinking close, and we're going to put those on. Alright, so we're going to set these up right here so this, there we go, this triangle goes down just a little bit, just enough to hold that foam in there, and the foam be flush with the top of this. So when we wrap it, it's right there flush with it, and it has an air gap behind it as well. So that's going to be pretty hard just to hold that right there. So a nice little trick, you just take 2 of these guys, and you stick them right there, just stack them on top of each other. And then our foam is 2 inches thick, so put this right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that lands right at 2 inches. So that's an easy way to get that depth just right. And then for the last one, because we won't have a triangle, got this little scrap piece of the 1x8 right there, and I'll just use that instead. I mean, I could use it here, but it's kind of nice to have triangle on top of triangle right there. So all we're going to do, just like we did earlier, we're going to take pilot holes, 2 here, 2 here, drywall screws, and we're going to do that all the way around, all 4 corners, and that'll make this really pretty solid. Now when we're doing our pilot holes here, it's kind of hard to just guess, you know, right there. So what I do is I take the tape measure on this side, since that's right where it's going to be, and it's that's a little over 1.5 inches, you know, just a little over 1.5 inches. So I come on this side right here, and I'm just going to drop it down to 1.25 inches and mark a hole for my pilot hole. Alright, now you know you've done a good job if you pull this up and this one stays and nothing pokes through. So we'll just do the others. Alright, so we have our frame here, and it's definitely feeling sturdier, and we got the corner braces in here now, and as you see, there's a 2-inch right here height right there for the foam or whatever it is you're using right there, to sit nice and flush right against that. And then on the back side there's a little distance here as well, but also the distance of this triangle piece where that back of that batting will sit right there, and it'll be almost 2 inches, and we're probably going to use a little something to hold this off the wall just a little bit further to get it even 2 inches. What we're going to do next is we are going to put a brace right across the middle here with that 2x2 that we have. That's going to add a little strength, even though this is already really strong, to be honest. But what it's really going to be used for is to hold the middle of that foam or batting up off the wall and flush against the top here in the fabric once we put the fabric on. So what I'm going to do with this 2x2 that we have here, normally I'd kind of measure it, but I get a little lazy sometimes, and I just go right here and we're just going to mark it off. So we got this right here, measured off 2 feet, and then we want it to be, you know, pretty close to center here, roughly 2 feet. Pull that together nice and tight. Be fairly squared off, doesn't have to be perfect. And now it's time to go put our foam in. Alright, you can see the one there kind of completed that I did yesterday, and then I also have our frame that we just finished up. I didn't get foam and I didn't get fiberglass panels. I got the cotton batting So it's nice because it doesn't make the same mess that fiberglass does and all that stuff. And it's cheaper than foam. So if you look here, that it sticks off the end just a little bit, and I just cut that off. And as you can see, it fits in there pretty nice and snug, and it should work out pretty well. I don't know if this is a feature or an accident, but my panels smell like coffee. I don't know if someone spilled coffee on it or whatever, but all my panels smell like coffee, which is could be worse. Well, hopefully all that made sense and it was easy to follow along. I tried to show as much detail as I could without turning it into like a 45-minute long video. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer as many as I can. But these frames, they're pretty straightforward, simple materials. Nothing too fancy, but they are solid and they are sturdy, but they don't weigh a lot either. So I think they're going to hang real nicely on the walls without being, worrying about tearing down drywall or anything like that. But once we cover them, I think they're also going to look real nice and clean and professional as well. And I got about at least 5 more to build, maybe a couple more. We'll see how that goes. But once I start covering them, I'm going to make a video showing you how I covered them as well. That'll be a separate video, and I'll leave a link here so you can go check that out as well. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.